the Sandow Award, the Olympia Gold Medal, the check for $400,000, and the title of 2016 Mr. Olympia. His six-time Mr. Olympia.
There it is.
Phil, the gift.
Phil Heath makes it 6 in a row, tying Dorian Yates.
Deservingly six-time Mr. Olympia. And I don't think anybody will have a problem.
Olympia had a broken jaw to begin my prep, and it kind of sucked because I missed out on, a good chunk of my prep, eating through a straw. And with that being said, I had a great supporting cast that, we all know Chris Aceta. Chris was like, hey, send me pictures. And he goes, I don't care if you're blending your steak, blending your fish, just send me pictures. And we ended up losing 36 pounds before I actually got into my prep. And I was still able to make the top 5 at the Olympia. Then I start my Arnold prep, end up with a 2 bleeding ulcer, 5 blood transfusion, and it pisses me off so bad because, a couple weeks out, Chris came out and I looked phenomenal. With that being said, I just kind of rolled all that into one and was like, hey, you know what? And I remember texting Chris and said, hey, this Olympia, it's all in.
You think there's been some, I know there's been a lot of trash talk there, respect factor, right? There's occasions you thought you could have won that show, correct? When you were second?
Twice, 2015, 2016. I remember looking over and seeing the look in his face both years, and it was like one of those where you think, I got him.
I've seen that with Ronnie.
You looked over and, I remember Steve Weinberger said front double bicep, and I looked over and, Phil looked over and it was like, trying to catch his breath, like, okay, let me, and I'm like, okay, I got him. I keep all that in the back of my mind in a vault, and, those are like my motivation for this year because, again, you've been there where you stand next to the champion and you're like, it's that close or I got him. And you know what you need to do to get back there, and you know how much better you need to be. I've worked on everything that I need to work on for this Olympia, and I'm 100% sure this is not going to be an easy fight.
2016. And by the way, breaking down Phil's body parts, his poses, he also said, and that was not the first time he said that, he mentioned that at the press conference years ago. Do you remember what year it was?
Morning, everyone. Thanks for coming out to show your support. Again at 2018 Mr. Olympia. Best I remember was 2015 right here.
Okay, breaking down Phil's poses. It's not something, it's not a secret because it was obviously online. I watched the last interview that you gave, and this is what a different Shawn Rhoden. This is Shawn Rhoden that I'm not used to, and probably nobody used to. It's the Shawn Rhoden that basically said, this time I don't care. I don't want to say it the way he said it, but you guys know what I'm doing. This time I don't. I'd rather not give a doo-doo, to be honest. But Shawn Rhoden broke down each pose for Phil Heath. Are you going to beat him in every pose that you mentioned? Because he started with the front double biceps all the way to the back double biceps.
I've studied each and every opponent that's on the stage here. Phil is the 7-time Mr. Olympia for a reason. And I've trained my ass off this year with the attitude of I have nothing to lose. And Phil is the current Mr. Olympia 2017. If I didn't do my homework, I shouldn't be up here. If there's one person on the stage that didn't train to be #1 in 2018, they should not be on this stage. If you're training to be #2, you should stay home.
Yeah, it's Shawn, Phil, Dennis,
Unless Steve likes to move him around to throw people off.
throw us off.
You know, just to get a different view of the guys from the other side and from the judges. But the way they position him right now, it looks like Phil, Shawn, and Dennis.
Possibly with Rami and Phil. Now it's way too early to predict that, of course.
Yeah, because we had that last year. He had the abs tight. Point. Rami his arms look way bigger than they did yesterday, so that means he really filled out and it worked.
Side chest.
Every single one of them has a great side chest, so that's a good
Back
picture
double
right
bicep.
there. Now this is where we say shows the one from the back now. Who's going to score this shot? And from what I see right here, I'm looking at Phil Heath in there, Dexter, and Rami, all of them. I mean, you can see those are the top 5 guys in the world right now. Unbelievable improvement from last year, and the placing will.
Side tricep.
Side tricep. These guys must be very tired, but this is it. This is it. This is for the spot. Bragging rights. Very good shot for Shawn Rhoden.
How bad do you want it? Like, what are you willing to do? How hard are you willing to fight? I might not be a 300-pound bodybuilder, I get hacks about that a lot. I'm never the biggest guy on stage. But there's one thing that I have that, heart, determination, and afraid to fail. What are you too stressed about?
Well, there's no question he improved vastly from a year ago. Shawn Rhoden's first flush on the stage stand, we both called that he was off, a little bit of watery. We understood later on that he had a broken jaw. This is a vastly improved physique. The obliques are in, he's tight and he's dry. The delts are just offsetting that physique. You can see the traps are hanging from his skinny neck. His traps actually make his neck look non-existent by comparison. But Shawn is the best that Shawn has been. And remember, this is a guy who's a former first-time runner-up in this contest. And I believe right now, he's better than he was when he got his first runner-up.
When prejudging ended last night, I asked you, Shawn Ray, who you thought was in the lead coming out of prejudging. You told us you had Shawn Rhoden ahead of Phil Heath. Of course, the night is still young. We still have protein routines. Half the contest will be scored tonight. It's still very much up in the air. But Shawn Rhoden has made this contest far more interesting than a lot of people thought.
Again, it's a heavyweight fight, and a heavyweight fight goes 12 rounds. So if you fight the first 6 and win the first 6 rounds, and you're the champion, you may come back in those last 6 rounds, may even get a knockout. We cannot discount the fact that Phil Heath has also had time to dry out. But right now, there's nothing that Shawn can do. Shawn's about as dry as he's going to get. You saw the intercostals. You see the peekaboo on the lower back. You see a little bit on the glutes, the hamstrings. He's dry in all the right places. The question will remain, did the champion rise to the occasion?
The knock on Shawn Rhoden, especially on a night like tonight, is that he brings just about everything to the stage you can bring, accept energy, and it looks like he's trying to bring some of that right now. That's been a missing piece for Shawn. He comes out, he usually poses very slowly, very cerebral.
The last time these guys will be compared, history will be made one way or the other. You cannot stop progress. Phil will either win or he will not. And either way, it will be a historic moment by the time Steve Weinberger is done with these final comparisons.
Side chest.
One side note, that is Brandon's soul brother #1, Curry, that is in that top 5 call-outs. A very unfamiliar place, but well-deserved. I've taken out several big names, including Cedric McMillan and Dexter Jackson and Big Ramy. We now see Brandon Curry making his first ever appearance in the top 5 of a Mr. Olympia
Spread
lineup.
out, guys. Everyone take a step.
Phil directing traffic up there, making sure
Back double
there's plenty of room. That's the veteran, especially when you got $400,000 on the line and an 8th Sandow trophy you're fighting for. You want to have plenty of space, Dan, on that stage. And right now, they all are serious.
Shawn, I'm going to just ask you this one question. Has anything changed in the way you see this competition from last night to right now?
Man, this is coming down to the wire. Because again, we counted the poses. And if we're going numerically on the poses, Shawn Rhoden slightly edges out. But again, Phil's signature poses are carrying him in this dogfight right here. But it's hard for me to stop looking at what Rhoden is presenting on that stage here tonight. I've only witnessed, Dan, personally, one upset on this Olympia platform, and that was back in 2008.
Abdominals and thighs.
Took out the reigning defending champion in the form of Jay Cutler. Now, that case was 10 years ago. And if it happens again here tonight, the question will remain, if Phil gets beat, does he come back next year to try to make history? That's going to be the bigger question.
We know what happens. We saw Jay Cutler defeat Ronnie Coleman.
Olympia. We take the Sandow Trophy, the Olympia gold medal, the check for $400,000, and the title of 2018 Mr. Olympia. To our winner, and new Olympia champion.
There it is.
It has happened in Las Vegas for just the 14th time. We have a new Mr. Olympia. The defending champion has been knocked out. Shawn Rhoden is your 2018 Olympia champion. Phil Heath's run, at least for now, will end at 7 in one of the more improbable developments.
Olympia.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for coming out and showing support to all these amazing athletes. Jim Mannion, AMI, Steve Weinberger, all these wonderful judges. Thank you guys so much. To my family for making it out here. Man, it's been a long journey. It's been a long journey, and I'm thankful for today and yesterday that I was able to fight my way. It's something that I believe that I was going to be number 14.
And you are number 14. Only 14 men in history since 1965 have held this title. Some of those great names that you know, of course. And you just beat a hell of a champion in Phil Heath, a 7-time champion. Nobody thought he could be beaten, but you did it.
Yeah, I've been watching Phil since 2012, taking a lot of notes, and I know people might laugh at me when I say that, hey, one day I was going to be Mr. Olympia, but here I am, folks. This was probably my hardest prep ever, but I wanted it so bad. I'm thankful that I'm here.
Well, Shawn, look at that Sandow trophy down there. That's going to look really nice up on that mantle, isn't it?
past couple of days has just been a roller coaster. You know, I have a great supporting cast, Chris Aceto, Psycho Fitness. My training partner make it to the Olympia for the first time, Stamina. And I'm gonna tell you, man, they beat the crap out of me these past couple of months just to get here. And to all you fans out here for your support, you know, every time I look and I hear someone said Shawn is too small, Shawn is spending too much time with his family, Shawn looked like he's retired, but it's okay. We had a game plan and we stuck to it, and we found our way to come here. I did everything that I possibly could have can to look good this weekend.
Well, Shawn, you certainly did more than look good. You look great, and the judge is certainly rewarding that with an Olympia victory. Take me through yesterday. After prejudging, what were your feelings after you stepped off the stage?
To be honest, man, I walked out here yesterday and I looked at Chris and I said, it's only Friday. You know, I know a lot of people had me, you know, winning or a close second, but I just looked at Chris and said, it's only Friday, Chris. We still have Saturday, let's just focus on today. And that's what we did, one day at a time.
What did you think when you came here tonight for the finals, Shawn? Did you think you had it? Did you think Phil was going to eat you? We all know Phil comes back better on Saturday, so you knew you had a battle coming up tonight. But what were your feelings? Did you think you had it?
Listen, guys, Phil is no slouch. I've been chasing him since 2012, so I know in the back of my mind, I'm like, hey, you know what, he's missed a Saturday night. He could come in here and he could look his all-time best. But again, I looked at Chris Aceto and Chris said, hey, you know what, Shawn? You'll be better than you were yesterday. And if that man believed in me, I'm good.
All right, Shawn Rhoden, right here in the center.
And he's told me that before. And this year, he was just like, Phil, we've done it, everything right. You did everything, you know, he had me doing freaking 2-a-days, you know, like that's fucking hard. Twice a day in the gym and cardio. That's a lot. And I did it all, and I really felt like my physique was good enough to win.
Was your strategy going into each competition different every year? And what was the strategy this year specifically?
This year, because of there being no off season, we had to go through a 2-day program to try to get my body back, because one thing Hani and I have both agreed on with my physique is that the more gym time I have, the better I'm at. The strategy this year was just to make sure that I could build up strength fast, so that's why we added more gym sessions. The recovery, that was, I would say difficult at first, but I had to, if people follow me, I started involving like different types of therapies, not just my acupuncture, my chiropractic. I started doing ART work, and then I started doing cryotherapy, which helped out a ton. So that was the main difference, is just making sure that I could recover fast enough to do those extra sessions.
Why he actually didn't win. Right. He said nobody gave him an explanation. So can you explain to the audience why Shawn beat him exactly?
Well, Shawn came in amazing condition. Shawn held his condition very well. Phil also was in excellent condition, but Phil also had that problem with his stomach, and that really hurt him. It hurt him in a lot of the poses. And you know, it also hurt him from the back. I mean, you could see the stomach could expand. You could also see it from the back, and it hurt him. He wasn't controlling his stomach.
He's saying that when it comes to the mandatory poses, like you know, arms, back, you know, back, right, side, chest, he was beating Shawn on all those. He thinks. Right. Only the stomach is what wasn't. So. But you know what? That's the stomach is the main part of the physique. When you're looking at a front double bicep, you're also looking at the stomach. When you're looking at a back double bicep, you're also looking at your lower stomach. The stomach involves almost every pose. Side tricep, overhead abdominals. It's a lot of poses. Phil did win some poses, but he didn't win all of them. Shawn came in with a really good look, an overall balanced look, which Phil didn't have this year. And that was the problem for Phil. Should Phil come back and resume it? Absolutely. Phil has to just fix that problem, come back, and go on to get number 8.